here's a this is our topic of the day here.
Yeah, in the industry.
In the industry. We're going to talk about GameStop.
And their stonks.
And specifically about their stock.
Oh, man. So anyone who remembers last year, actually it was earlier this year, like around February or March, GameStop's stonks went through the roof and suddenly became a Fortune 100 company because LOL, the internet is amazing. But it did throw GameStop into the limelight. And yeah, it's a saga. It's a saga, Burke. It's a saga. We're about to jump into some hilarious territory because their shares have started falling flat after earnings. We're not going to watch this video because the next one's even better. But look at that little thing right there. That's not a good thing.
That's a very bad thing. And I just want to say that we're going to focus on Stonk from here on out.
Yes,
it's not stop, it's stonks. Because it's a blend of stink and stock. Stonk. It's stonks, y'all.
Yes. For those of you who do not remember, oh man, okay, here we go.
Okay.
For those of you who do not remember, back in the day, there was a situation with GameStop's stocks at stonks, because of the market kind of falling flat because, well, I mean, it's a brick and mortar store.
It's a brick and mortar store and everybody is streaming. Yeah,
it wasn't working. So hedge fund peeps were going right after it.
Yeah, they were.
And the hedge funds were like, oh, we're going to make money on GameStop's failure. If you do not know what a hedge fund is, it is when you basically make money off of other people breaking. They made a really good movie with Danny DeVito in it called Other People's Money.
Yes, they did.
But basically, hedge fund managers are crap heads. And the internet went, hey, wait a minute. If we buy up GameStop's stonk, it'll put their net worth through the roof. We'll make a lot of money. And so GameStop suddenly became a really high level, lots of money, worth a lot, and the people who did it actually became multimillionaires.
Yeah, they did. And then they ran.
Then they ran because they're like, fuck this shit.
And it tanked.
But in reality, GameStop's been making some bad decisions. They have not been doing good things.
They've been doing very bad things.
Yes.
As KB said, extra dumb things that were PR disasters, from how they treated their people to their attitude during the pandemic, to their business decisions, from their CEO all the way down.
Yep.
So all this taken together has tanked the stock, which has created a bit of a dichotomy in this because GameStop earnings are supposedly really high.
They're supposed to be.
High earnings.
However, we're going to move on to the very next video, and we're going to do what we don't usually do. We're going to play a video and we're going to pause it occasionally to comment, because the shit show of all shit shows is about to happen. And it reminded Teal and I think they even mentioned it in the video, of some bullshit that happened with another company years ago. We're going to start here.
Let's start right here, guys.
Oh my God.
Get your popcorn, hang on for the ride.
This is a great example of how not to do a stonk, or how not to do a business. Here we go. Let's get it to play. Play for me. There we go. Bring that all the way up. There we go. Bring that up maximum. Let me go ahead and raise volume a little bit. Give me a second, guys.
Raise the volume.
Oh, yeah, you guys are going to hear this.
We want to hear every single word.
This is the kind of dumb that, I mean, you have to work at this bad. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Pressure this morning, the drop coming even though the video game retailer posted better than expected quarterly revenues and a much narrower loss than a year earlier. The meme stock, though, isn't a stranger to huge swings. Its previous quarterly release was followed by a 27% drop during one session. Joining us right now is Anthony
Here we go.
Chakabal. He's the manager.
So this guy actually works for a investment company.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, Loop Capital, I believe.
It's Loop Capital. Yes, and he's been doing this game for a long time. He understands his stuff.
Yeah, I just turned off the BGM. Cool. Okay. We have no music. We just have this bit of dumb. All right, here we go. So this guy is literally his job is to help businesses make money by giving them money so he gets even more money.
Yeah.
It's an investment. He's an investor.
Director at Loop Capital. Good morning to you. I don't know.
Morning.
I don't know. I thought we were going to, I don't know if I thought the earnings were going to be better, but I thought we were going to hear something on this conference call about the future of the company.
So one of the things that you need to understand is that if you are an investor, and I mean a shareholder of majority,
right?
Because if you just go buy your one Microsoft or Disney stock, you're not a shareholder. You have a share. If you are in the majority part where you are like part of that board, not necessarily the board of directors, but the people who do the money and get to hear back from the company as to how much money they're making you, you have something called earnings calls and such like that. And usually in that, the CEO. Right, usually the CEO will get on there and it will tell you exactly how much they are making, how much they are not making, how much they've gained, how much they've lost.
And explain all of it.
Right. The reasons why.
The reasons why and what they plan to do about it if something bad is going on.
Right.
That's what usually happens.
But not what happened here.
And I didn't hear much. Jim Cramer was tweeting out about it last night. I heard, that they were going to, increase warehouse space. That's pretty much where we're at.
I mean, that earnings call was shameful. I mean, absolutely, positively shameful. This is a company that is in the midst of this massive turnaround. And what do we get? We get a couple minutes of comments. There's no color whatsoever in terms of the results. There's no color whatsoever in terms of what the strategy is going to be going forward. They don't take any questions whatsoever. It is shameful. It was disrespectful to their shareholders. And it just astounded me, quite frankly.
So to put this in perspective, guys, generally speaking, they would have they'd show the earnings here, and then they would answer questions by the investors. Not only what are you going to do about what just happened, but what is your plan? How are you going to deal with employee turnover?
Right.
How are you going to deal with, the
different threats from the market?
Exclusives, that kind of thing. Hey, exclusives, because exclusives are fantastic. Exclusives mean that people are going to go to your store just to buy that one game and only that one version of that game because you have a Cupid doll that goes with it.
But they took no questions. Nothing. That is very significant and very rude.
Yes. It's not like you're just some person who's high-powered, this multi-million-dollar CEO, and some reporter on the street asks you, hey, what are you going to do about this? And you say no comment. No, these are the people that give you money so that your business works.
Exactly. And it sounds to me just from his rundown, just his initial rundown, that this was more like a brief press release instead of an earnings call.
But it gets better.
I don't know where to go after that. I mean, I think the big question for those who are in it, those who are believers, is whether there's a case to be made that this could work out in their favor. I mean, look, I like to think we're all rooting for GameStop. I think you'd want, look, I want all companies to succeed. The question at this point is I think more than anything, a valuation.
Please keep in mind, guys, that GameStop would not be newsworthy if the thing that happened early this year didn't happen.
Exactly.
So
they put themselves on the map with that bit of negative publicity.
And yes, absolutely true. And Burke, this is building up to something that we're getting to.
Yeah. CEOs are obligated by law to not lie to their investors.
Yes. Once you are a publicly traded company, you are required by law to be transparent and honest.
Yeah.
And people have gone to jail for a very long time for not doing that.
Yep.
The valuation is nonsensical. And at some point, let's just call it what it is. The emperor has no clothes. I know Ryan Cohen, founded Chewy and sold it.
I got to laugh for a second. He says the whole point is the emperor has no clothes. That's basically the whole concept of GameStop saying, yeah, we're going to make it. We got a plan. We got a plan. They have no plan.
They don't have a plan.
They don't have a plan.
For a gajillion dollars. He's got at least three zeros in his net worth more than I do. But at the end of the day, this is Eddie Lampbert with Sears all over again. At some point,
and that is hilarious.
That is a hilarious comparison. It's not a hilarious comparison.
No, it's not.
It's a very serious comparison. We'll go over why the Sears debacle in a bit.
Yes.
But this man, Anthony, is making a very serious accusation.
To compare any CEO to Eddie Lampbert is that is a kiss of death.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
We're going to have to come to the realization that the emperor has no clothes. There is no strategy. There's no turning this business around, and it's nonsensical that the valuation is $15 billion.
Yeah.
At this point, is there anything that they could tell you that would change your mind at all? I mean, there's an interesting piece that effectively says, look, this is actually now just a well-funded startup. By the way, there's other well-funded
I'm sorry.
startups out there.
I'm sorry. That breaks me on multiple areas to compare GameStop to a startup. And
No.
we've already watched this video, so what Anthony's about to say is just delicious. But there's a couple of things we have to unpack from what just happened. And this is the industry being just unforgiving.
Yeah.
First off, GameStop is losing money. GameStop has never actually done well since the pandemic started.
No.
They were given a chance to really turn themselves around and they didn't. And you're going to see why this comparison to Eddie Lambert's a big deal, but they're blaming the CEO. They are blaming the CEO. The CEO has really failed on this golden opportunity and has not turned around a company that for the longest time was known specifically for being the place to go buy video games.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times prior to the pandemic, Teal and I would be out shopping.
Yeah.
And there's a GameStop right where we like to go shopping.
Exactly.
And we would go in there. It's one of the big stores. And we would go in, we would go shop. I mean, it's where I got my Kingdom Hearts backpack that I went, that I walk around with on my back. I mean, just shit like that. And no. This CEO, the CEO of GameStop is doing nothing to go beyond just that. I think at the very beginning, our reporter here mentioned something about bigger warehouse space. Those are crickets that you just heard.
Yeah.
The value rocket that happened. Yeah, this is a nightmare, guys. This is no plan at all in order to make a company successful. That's basically what Anthony is saying.
The difference between a startup and GameStop is that startups, their sales grow really, really fast and they lose money, but you can see visibility to them making money. I see none of that with GameStop. Yes, their sales were up because we're really early in a video game console cycle, but this is a razor and a razor blade business, right? You don't really make any money on the consoles. You make money on selling the software, and more gamers are downloading the software. And so the razor blade sales are not going to be there. So I mean, it's honestly, a 12-year-old, like my nephew, my 12-year-old nephew could have said this. Yeah. People are downloading games. No one goes to a store and buys games anymore. So if my 12-year-old my 10-year-old nephew, my sister's son, if he would know that, why can't a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar game company not know that? It's shocking and kind of insulting.
Yeah.
And yes, Anthony said it right. You don't make money from the consoles, you make money from the games.
Absolutely. That's where the money is.
The fact of the matter is that GameStop has never created any type of CDN. They've created nothing that works alongside with Steam or GOG or any of those things.
Or any of them.
Why not? Why? GameFly, which was a competitor of GameStop, had the ability to download games onto your computer, and it failed because it couldn't keep up with GameStop. However, GameStop is already big. It already has its name recognition.
Yeah, it does.
So the fact that it didn't make any kind of online downloading service is just mind-boggling. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
To liken this to an internet startup is an insult to internet startups.
Wow.
I can't. God, that is so horrible. Burke said, another friendly reminder that GameStop, before this whole saga happened, tried to make themselves the essential service to try and weasel out of work from home restrictions to get people in danger during the earlier parts of the pandemic.
Yes, they did.
When we did not know enough about the coronavirus, and we didn't know whether or not this thing was transmitted through spit, transmitted through breath in the air, transmitted through touch. We did not know enough about this thing, and GameStop tried to pass themselves off as being essential.
And everybody just laughed.
Yeah.
I mean, what a PR debacle.
Yes. We will get to the rest of the comments in a second. Let's finish this video.
Wow. Okay, fair value for GameStop right now. It's trading at $185.
My last valuation was $10 a share, and I haven't covered the company for quite some time, but there's nothing to make me think that it's worth any more than that. For this stock to have a $15 billion valuation is the dumbest thing I've heard in quite some time.
Okay, I think we can probably stop here because this is a fantastic place where basically one of the guys, we're going to go ahead and stop that, put back on the music, boom, boom, boom. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Again, this is not some random schnook making statements about the value of GameStop. This is
Anthony Chukumba, and he is one of the voices that people listen to on trading.
Yes.
And he's saying that GameStop is ridiculous and the stock valuation is stupid, and he's absolutely right. Just to get into it, the CEO of GameStop, his only thing, he was brought on to turn the company around.
Right.
That's why he was brought on.
That's why he was hired.
Brought on.
That's why he was hired.
And the only thing he has done is build a fulfillment center in I think it's Atlanta or somewhere.
Someplace.
And build a warehouse out in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all he has done. A fulfillment center and a warehouse. This is still brick and mortar shit. This is not where the game industry is going.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So absolutely head in the sand, tone deaf.
Yes.
As far as that goes.
So chatting a bit with our chat here, because chat has been bringing up some good points, and part of the forum is just talking with you guys.
Absolutely.
GameStop could go online with exclusives. And this is what Wrath, we've talked about that, Teal and I, that if GameStop was smart, and we talked about it got back in I think it was last year.
Yeah.
Last year when the pandemic was in full swing. We're like, if GameStop had a brain, if GameStop was smart, what it would do is it would create some sort of online store. You could possibly link it, like you buy a game on there and you get something that you can redeem on Steam or whatever if they didn't want to have their own CDN, which is fine. I wouldn't compete with Valve at all, and then you have exclusives. So, a game comes out like the new FIFA, the next wrestling game, the next season of Fortnite, whatever. And exclusive that if you buy it on GameStop's online store, you get a redemption code that gets you content only from that store.
Right.
And exclusive. And they would have made a dumb amount of money because the online game downloads skyrocketed when the pandemic started.
Yes, they did.
And they're not going down.
And they're not stopping.
And they're not going to.
We got a new model of game delivery.
Yeah.
And it's now here to stay.
The tone deafness of this CEO is insane right now because I can't guarantee you, but I can believe that he thinks it's going to go back to normal and people are going to go back to brick and mortar and people are going to stop downloading games. And the thing is this, when something like this happens, the new normal incorporates, and the old normal, they kind of integrate. Yeah, some people are going to go back to GameStop and buy games. That is going to happen. But most people are going to continue to download.
Yep.
They're just going to continue to download. So using CDNs to download your game and either stream them or play them on your computer, that's it. That's the reality now. So GameStop is going to be banking on brick and mortar only. And we're never going to go back to that. That period of time is over with. Hence the whole emperor's wearing no clothes that Anthony was talking about. KV brought up a great point. He says, let me show you my perspective. Here these guys are just laying the smackdown on this company. Yeah, they are verbally beating this company up in this video. That is true. You can tell that Anthony is part giving his understanding as a financier, as a capital investor, but he's also venting. Yeah. He's venting. Anthony's pissed. Hedge fund managers start short selling the company, right? Basically, right? That's how hedge funds work.
That's how they work.
And then Wall Street, right? Investors swarm the company. Basically, not reading what you're saying word for word, KV is pretty much just showing you, just regurgitating that when a company is publicly traded, and is handled poorly, people like Piranha, smelling blood, go and try to buy up the stock to get ready to sell it, to make a whole bunch of money, causing your company to tank financially.
Absolutely.
The fact that GameStop got what it did, which is literally a second lease on life, back in the earlier parts of this year with the Stonk thing, is rare and hardly ever happens, and was a second lease on life. And the CEO of GameStop has absolutely wasted it in every way possible.